Hello everyone and welcome back to another Universe Sandbox video, and today we're going to be doing another episode of creating a new solar system with a colour theme. So this one is actually suggested from you guys, and yeah, I saw this in the comments and I actually really like the sound of this. So far, just to recap, we have done a warm coloured solar system with the colours red, orange and yellow. We've done a cool / cold coloured solar system with greens, blues, purples and pinks, which is the one we are looking at right now. But we will quickly go and recap the warm solar system as well. So yeah, this was the warm coloured one, so that was the cool. And then we had the warm coloured one. So here we go, and then our objects are all here. So all hot colours and warm colours. But now we're going to be doing a Greyscale solar system as suggested by you guys. And yeah, really like the idea. And yeah, we're going to hop straight into this. So I guess it's sort of kind of similar to those old the grey solar system we did way back. I don't even have a copy of it anymore. But yeah, I made a grey coloured solar system, and that's probably the closest thing I've ever done to this. But this new one, we can use white, grey and black as our colours. So any colour in between those. So all the different shades, whites, all the greys, like all that, we can use all of those. So yeah, new simulation. I think what we'll do first off as well is we'll pick a background. Why not? We usually do the last, but let's do the background first this time. So we want white. We're going to want grey. That white. So can you darken that down to colour 2? Let's go ahead and lower that. So just 2 shades of grey. I mean, something like that is probably the best. White maybe a little too. So yeah, I'll go shades of grey. So a lighter grey and grey. Star intensity is maxed. Ambient I want all the way off. So there we go. So that's what we got to build off. Right, awesome. So we've got a nice grey background. Fits our theme nicely. Right, onto the stars. So I think a white dwarf is a must-have here if we're doing whites, greys and blacks. So a white dwarf. I will go ahead and why not use one of the good old ones here? So I think it was Sirius B. Yes, I'm going to use that guy. Right, there we go. So there's Sirius B, right? White dwarf star. Right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to tweak it a little bit to make it the colour we actually want. So I am going to make sure, okay, so I want this to be about 7,000 degrees. Don't need to give it any custom colour or anything because it's just the default. I mean, I can put it to white. I mean, that's not really going to do much. But there we go. So we've got a white dwarf star. So that will probably be our secondary star, actually, because I want to have a bigger star as the parent, or the main guy in here. So what could we use as our main star? I mean, I think Deneb could be quite a good option. Denebola here, 1.78 suns. We've got Algol here. Ooh, I think I'll use actually, yeah, I think Denebola, why not? So, or Denebola, however you say it. But yeah, I'm going to put that in here. We're going to go into the binary with our white dwarf. We're going to have quite a decent distance between the two. So I think we'll go with about 20 AU sort of distances. I think that'll be alright. So we'll put it here, 27, right, so about just over Neptune actually, 29, 27. Somewhere there. I'm going to put it on a slight tilt. There we go. Right, and then if I go to orbits, we should have a binary when I click play. Yes, we do. This star, we do need to quickly tamper with it as well, just to get the colour we want. So there we go. So we'll put it to white manually, but we still obviously need to slightly lower the temperature to get it the exact shade of white we want. So around 7,000 degrees is what we want. So there we go. So there are our 2 stars. I mean, we could try a grey star, but I don't know. Can you even really make a grey star? I mean, you sort of can make a grey star, I guess. I mean, yeah, I guess we could have that just so the star's a little more visible. So there we go. So we've got like a slightly darker white shade into greys. I mean, you could go all the way down, but I mean, it does get a little too dark. And we still want to have our star emitting visible light. So, right, there we go. So something like that, I think is alright. And then the white dwarf can just stay the way it is, I guess. Or maybe we put the white dwarf as the darker one, and then have this guy as the brighter one. Yeah, I think something like that could work quite good, actually. I'll just lower it just a tad bit. But there you go. So you can see our white dwarf over there. So Sirius B. So there we go. So it's kind of halfway between a white and a black dwarf then, I guess. If we're darkening the whiteness down, it'll eventually turn into a black dwarf. So maybe we could have a black dwarf in here as well somewhere. That'd be quite cool. But yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to leave Sirius just in the greys right now. Maybe just a little brighter. There we go. So something like that. Right. Good. And I will make sure to save the system now we have got our layout done. So we'll just call it the Greyscale. There we go. Greyscale system. That works. So Greyscale system. Let's go ahead and save that. Right, now onto the planets. So, first planet closest to the star or the sun. What do we want to use for our sun here? Right, just look at any customs we could possibly use. Right, maybe I've got some old custom gas giants I could probably throw in as well, but I think I'm going to go rocky. as our first object. So let's just see, what could we possibly use? Anything that meets the eye here? We have got a lot of old modded ones, but as we saw, as we've learnt from making the two systems, a lot of modded rocky planets are broken. So anything unique about them, we may have to change anyway. So it may be better just to go and start off fresh with a brand new object. So there we go. And also, we can't use all the fancy colours anyway, because they are banned. We have to use grey colours only. So, random rocky. Yeah, we'll go for random rocky. Right, I also want to check our luminosity zones. Right, there we go. So yeah, then the White Dwarf's all the way over here. I'm guessing this has its own little one as well. Yep, so Sirius B. So that's got obviously the default Sirius B stats there. So yeah, that's luminosity. Still got some stats though, but obviously nothing crazy. And then this guy, 6.49 luminosity of the sun. Right, so obviously anything in that red area is going to get pretty warm. So I think our first object, we won't have anything ridiculously close. We're going to put this object here. There we go. And actually, so we'll be organised this time. Let's actually name them. So I'm just going to use letters. It's nice and simple. Right, so this is object A. Actually, no, this would be B because the star... I just put B in the mass. Whoops. But yeah, this would be B because the star would be A. So here we go. Right, object B. Right, first of all, no water. Get out of here. Right, and then secondly, we've got to match the criteria. So there we go. Atmosphere we can have. We are allowed an atmosphere. So have to be, I mean, I think the only atmosphere colour we can really have is whites or greys. I mean, if you lower it all the way down, it just turns into those like brownish coloured atmospheres. I mean, if you look carefully, you can just sort of roughly see the atmosphere right now. I mean, if we look, I mean, it is very hard to spot, but if you know what you're looking for, you can see it. But you can, if I just look, you can sort of see in the background there, you can see that dark brownish shade. So it's not entirely black, even though you set it to black. It's more of just a really dark brown. But yeah, we're not going to use the colours that dark because you can't see it. We want to make it pretty nice to look at here. So we'll go with I guess we'll go with a Mercury. I guess we could make it like a Mercury sort of object. Could be our first sort of object to start off with here. Or we could use Mercury itself. Or a Pluto. I want to see what would a Pluto look like if we changed it up. So custom, right? Then we put it all to. That looks quite good actually. No, I'm gonna remove that. I want to use this, and then we will go for. We'll make it larger. We'll go to roughly Mercury Mars size. Why not? Colors. So that's white at the moment. So we want to make it sort of more of a Mercury lookalike, I guess, a Mercury clone. So we'll just want to get the color. See, that's way too much grey. So we've got to have some whiter color mixed in there with the grey. See, that's just overkill with the grey, I think. So yeah, we'll have white there, white. I also will rotate it the correct way up, or just roughly, slightly on its tilt. So there we go. So click play. That's what we've got now. This guy's obviously going to warm up dramatically. So put it at 0 degrees, let it warm up. We will add a atmosphere as well. We'll go for something simple like Mercury. It's not going to have anything crazy level, but I do want an atmosphere in there. So Mercury has a 10,000 kilogram. So that is pretty much a complete Mercury sort of replica. And then atmosphere, we want our, we'll go with a nice white atmosphere. Oh, no. I guess more of a, yeah, like a whitish grey. There we go, something like that. We could have it as a base as well. We could have lights on it. And then obviously those would also have to be matching the criteria. So there we go. That is our first object in here. So that'll be object B. So there we go. White city lights do look really cool, I think, as well. So that's a nice find. So there we go. Let the game play for a bit. Let it rotate. So there you go. So there are all of the lights. I think I want to get more because there's quite a lot of area missing there. So let's try and get a nice big chunk in the middle. Something like that. Oh, there we go. Oh, yes. Quite a decent chunk. I mean, it's quite a nice chunk at the north there, but I want to get more sort of at the equator sort of area. I mean, can we get a nice big spawn in the middle, maybe? Come on. Anything good? I'm not going to keep clicking this all day, so we'll just try a few more. So I'm happy with something, so... And how does that look? There's not really too many. I wish you could choose how many lights showed up as well. That could be quite cool, but... Yeah, I mean, the randomizer button is already a massively useful asset. So, there we go. Don't have the mod lights in anymore. Or, like, because sometimes even when they were modded in, they were still Earth lights. But the fact that that can all be changed now, I really like that. But yeah, there we go. Come on, just a few more. I'm kind of annoyed I didn't keep the first one now, because the first one was actually not too bad. Come on. Just spam click. I mean, it mostly spawns them at the north. I mean, I'm just going to leave it at that. I mean, that's fine. It's got a nice chunk on them there. Not going to mess around with that anymore and waste your guys' time. So there we go. That is our first object. Looking good. So that is it. And I wonder how hot it will go. So let's increase the temperature up. How hot will this guy go to once we let it play for a bit? So it's done a few years, a few laps around the star now. Maybe if it gets too hot, the clouds will start to appear on it as well. So that'd be quite good. Cloud color we want as white as well. So how are we doing here? So temperature, 200. So it matches out about 280. Okay, so that's roughly... I mean, if we spawn a Mercury in, that's roughly where you'd find a Mercury. So one thing we need to do as well is I did see it was losing mass. We need to put it to about... Let's go 0.05 Earths. There we go. So something like that. That's fine. Click play, Control D, get rid of any particles, lock back onto the planet. So yeah, that's roughly what Mercury is, but we'll spawn a Mercury in just as a comparison. So Mercury is normally at 155, so it's actually more warm, more hot than the normal Mercury. But yeah, there we go. So that's the first object there. Quite happy with that. So object B. Right, now what should we go after object B? Right. Let's go with another Rocky. Right, yeah, another Rocky. What if I use this Coruscant? I remember this was an old object someone modded. Is this still functional? Let's see. I think this was a gas giant with a rocky texture. So what's underneath? I think that was... Yeah, that was a gas giant, if I remember. Yes. Default custom. Does the custom change anything? Yeah, I believe this was a gas giant with a atmosphere. So an old style rocky. It's also got clouds, as you can see. So what I want to do here is... So I guess we can sort of make it like Venus, actually. We can make it quite warm. It's not the same atmosphere as Venus. I mean, it's literally just a pale white object, no features whatsoever. But yeah, we can sort of definitely make it like the Venus lookalike. Actually, there are the lights. So this had Earth lights on it, so we can change that and pull it back to normal lights. And then obviously, same as before, white lights. There we go. And I also want you to have a big killer atmosphere. So we're going to lower the albedo. Atmosphere pressure we're going to put to about roughly Venus levels, 80 atmosphere pressure, or 80 Earths of mass. I mean, that's actually no, that's even more than what Venus is yeah, that's over what Venus has, 118 ATM. Venus is usually about 80-90, I think it was. So right, let's warm this guy up. There we go. Right, and I want to see those clouds reappear, please. Come on. So let's speed things up. So this would be object C. So it's a 500 as a base value. How hot does it go? Okay, it's cooling down like crazy. That is not allowed. So I'm going to lower that. Infrared we're going to put up. 180 ATM though. It just goes to show old modded objects can be very hard to use sometimes. I mean, yeah, let's move it closer. I mean, that should easily be warm enough with that atmosphere. So how's it click around? There we go. So that stays in the 500. I guess we'll have to swap this round with our Mercury-like object. So this would now be C. So we'll put that to C, and then this one would be B, since we are moving it closer. So yeah, that's fine. So there we go. And then this would be B. There we go. Right, so how does this one look now? Because I did see a red hot area appear. So how are we looking on it? So there we go. That's looking pretty cool. What we can do is as well, if we tidally lock it, one side will be hotter than the other. So the front face should be getting extremely hot now. So if we look here, there we go. So we can see the tidal lock is taking effect. So it should start to melt, get very hot. We can see an area is appearing on the daylight side. So let's just let it roll for a bit. So it maxes out at about 800 degrees. You can see the clouds very clearly as well, which is what we wanted. But what if I move it even closer to the star? What would happen? So 55 days, we're going to lower that down so we're a lot closer. 27 days. So I'm assuming, yep, as we can see, it's getting a little too hot now. So let's buff it out a little further. So how are we looking now? Because I don't want it being too hot because the clouds have disappeared. We don't want that. So I'll put it to about 67 days. The atmosphere should cool down a bit. So let's put it back to 550. So now it's cooling down again. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like that. So it's a very cloudy world, as we can see. You cannot see to the surface or whatsoever, apart from the light showing up. That's all you see. It's also rotated. You see where the best point of city lights are. Actually, what we could do is have it sort of like that, I guess. So it's tidally locked. So the city lights are actually on the dark side. But obviously, when it rotates around, the city lights are then in the day side. And then round here, the uninhabited side is now in the dark. That could be quite cool to see, actually. So how are we looking? So yeah, still tidally locked. So the thing doesn't rotate. Or yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. No, it is. No, is it rotating? No, maybe because I messed it up. 0. Is it rotation period 0? There we go. And then the same face always facing the star now. Right. Yeah. So that is tidally locked. Right. And then just to make sure though, we will click the button. But yeah, as we can see, poor thing isn't rotating. So the only way the starlight changes is because of the orbit of the object. So there we go. Right, yeah, I'll leave it like that. That's fine. It's just a weird, tidally locked, non-rotating object there. So that's object B. And then what we could do as well to spice things up, we could have a little tweak with the eccentric options. So if I give it a slight change there. There we go. So it does veer quite close to object C, but still, I mean, it's still quite a decent distance. I doubt you're going to be able to see the objects and to get like closer. I mean, we can have a look. So where's object B? So there we go. I'm guessing you won't be able to see object B, but you never know, right? So there, object B is there. What if I move it on its orbit? See if it. So they're quite close together now. And where's it gone? Hang on. We're trying to locate this guy. Where's he gone? Oh, so it's all the way over there now. Right, let's put orbits on so we can actually see where we are. Right. Let's just try and get it roughly. There we go. Can you see this object from this one? Disable orbits. I mean, you can see a little thing flickering. I mean, they're not really close at all, are they? But I mean, there you go. So that's that. Right. So object B and C are implemented. So they're fairly close. I mean, object B, a lot warmer there. Right. Now moving on. Now I'm going to go for a proper Venus-like object. So we're going to go all the way down to the classics down here, all of the old templates. Right. I'm going to go for the grey version of Venus. So cloudy, yes. And this is the grey version. So let's go ahead and a little further out than the first two. So this will be object D. So here we go. So object D. Let's go ahead and name it. We're going to give it a full fresh surface texture underneath because it was broken before. So this is an old object. We need to give our atmosphere back as well. We'll go with about 1.1 Earth. So it's actually a larger version than Venus or Earth. So there we go. Let's unlock the density as well. And then put it back to 1.1. There we go. So something like that. And then 6,000, goes 6,800. So actually bigger than the size of Earth as well. So there we go. That's what we've got. Then obviously ATM we need to add back. So the Earth similarity is actually quite high there. Right, and then this, we want to put this. So surface pressure, there we go. So we want to put it to around 90, 91. So very, very high levels. Right, how are we looking? So this should start to go absolutely insane with temperature. Let's see how high it will go to. 500s. Still cooling down. That's not what we want. So infrared we want all the way up. This we want all the way down practically, although Venus is quite reflective. And actually, just to compare, I'm going to throw the actual Venus, the regular old Venus. I'm going to put that in here. I want to see how that copes at this in this system as well. So that where else Venus? So Venus is here. Does Venus lose its temperature? So let's put it to 400. Does it warm up? So Venus warms up. So that doesn't make much sense. Venus is more reflective. Its infrared is there. Venus has 91.3 ATM. Greenhouse effect is 391 degrees. But on this guy, it's only 128. So I'm not sure how that works, I have to say. I don't know why. That is very, very strange. I don't know why it's doing that. I want to get this grey one warmed up though, so I mean actually what we can do here is we don't even need the grey one. We can just customize Venus. So let's just go ahead, remove that. There we go. So the surface textures change. And then we just simply do that. There we go. So click play, and then that should have its good atmosphere on it. It says it's warming up. That is exactly what we want. Very happy with that. And then I just want to make it slightly bigger. So here we go. So both to Earth. So we're going to make radius just a tad bigger than Earth. That's where I want to be. So around that, there we go. And that's all we need to do. Simply just that. So 409 degrees, that is fine. 410, awesome stuff. Cloud color, we can change. So we can see we'll put it to white. So if we have a grey atmosphere, we can actually see the white clouds a little more clearly. So it's a very, very dark atmosphered Venus. So there we go, interface, we'll put it as just a darker grey. But if we look underneath our atmosphere now, that is what we have got underneath. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of the lighter areas, darken it down a bit. Do something like that. So a very greyed out world, not much going on. Hugely thick atmosphere on top of it as well to go with it. Looking good. So turn off the zone as well. So there we go. That is what we have got. Custom Venus lookalike there. So this would be object D. So there we go. Looking good. Very happy with the way this has turned out so far. So there we go. So yeah, we have got B. So if we go back on the labels. So B, C, D over here. Right. Looking good. Right. Now moving on. gas giant is what comes to my head now. So, what could we use as a gas giant? Know what I'm thinking? Let's go to our good old buddy Deluxe here. The Cold Deluxe, or just the Deluxes in general. We're going to make a Greyscale Deluxe now. So we're going to put it... Yeah, I want it a decent distance from D. So I'm going to put Cold Deluxe there. So this would be Object E. And we'll put it as Greyscale Deluxe. And then, yep, so instead of being cold, this would be Greyscale. There we go. And now, we are going to make the sky grayscale. So we're going to take away the nice colours it has, and we're going to make it look more boring, basically. That is what we are going to do. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Right, so obviously, first layers, it's got to be white, hasn't it? I mean, that's where we got to start. So we're going to go white, grey, I guess dark grey, and then black at the very bottom. Oh, I don't want reds, that's not allowed. So, nice, simply very easy here. We don't have to pick any fancy colours. We just go to white every single time for the time being. So, there we go. Right, and we could maybe throw some greys in there as well, just to tweak things up. But yeah, there we go. So that's looking quite good so far. So let's see how this turns out. Okay guys, there we go. That would be the Greyscale Deluxe completed there. I'm quite happy with the way that came out. I did have to come back and tweak some of the bands. I was thinking that maybe there's a little too much grey in the area, so I've really blended the white and the black at the bottom here and then greyed out in the middle to really blend the colours together. I'm very happy with the way that has turned out, and yeah, let's get a full look of the guy now. We'll go in a directional light, flashlight mode. So there we go, so you can see the north there. Very, very white. We've got the south, very, very dark, black there. And then obviously the grey in the middle, meeting the colours up there. So yeah, I'm very happy with the way that's looking. I think I will just on camera, just add a few tints of grey in here, just so it's not completely all the same colour. So just a few more greyer areas in the very, very north here. Just slightly tweak out. They've got to be very pale though, because they still have to match our white criteria. But yeah, just so the bands are actually slightly more visible. So I mean, what's the point of having all the bands if they're all the same colour? You can't actually see the difference. So we've got to have really... There we go. That's a good one there. So just very, very pale greys there. But there we go. So slight improvement, slightly different. Happy with the way that has came out indeed. So there we go. So that's looking good. I'm liking that. So just one more. There we go. There we go. Something like that. So I'm very happy with the way that is looking good. So yeah, I'm definitely go ahead and I will just save it as Greyscale Deluxe. So let's go ahead and give that a bad boy a save. There we go. And then pull it back to Object E, this wasn't it? So E, and then Greyscale Deluxe is its actual name, but there we go. So yeah, Object E, and we'll just put it in brackets as well. So there we go. Right, looking good. And then we'll get a comparison with the other Deluxes as well. Let's go ahead and do that. Right. So here we go. So this is the lineup now. So we've got 4 different versions of the same object. That's pretty cool. Right. So we have the fire, which was from the first system. We've got the cold. And then we had the original rainbow over here. So here we go. That's the lineup. All the same object, but customized in many different ways. So there we go. I mean, yeah, rainbow. I mean, kind of being replaced here, buddy. You got, yeah, 3 variants of it now. I mean, that is looking awesome. So there we go. Let's rotate the red one up the right way there. So there we go. That is the lineup we have got. I've got to say, I'm very, very genuinely pleased with those. I think they look great. So all the same object, but looking so different. There we go. Very, very happy there. That is awesome. So there we go. Click play on this guy again. Its stats are the same. We don't need to change that. We know they're all working fine. And then we'll just put labels back on. Obviously, the colour needs to go to grey. Right. Looking good. So all the way down here, past all the bands. There we go. So there's our Greyscale one. And I think with these guys, we'll just have a little tweak with the colours as well, just to get them all working well. The interface of this guy will be white. There we go. So yeah, all the greys, whites, but yeah, Greyscale. Very happy with that. I think it looks great. So there we go. And then orbits. That is our orbit so far. So what we will do as well, we are going to give this eccentric. I want to give it some eccentric. So there we go. So a slight change. There we go. So it's a lot further out than the 3 rocky planets in the center. But now we're going to hop on. So next object in the list. Let's see if I've got any other grey objects I could use. Maybe that could be quite good. So I've actually got, I know there was one I saw. It was, if I just search up the banded. So here we go. Banded 53. If you just saw that briefly. This one looks like it could fit the criteria. So let's see this guy in person. So here we go. Banded 53. And it is mainly, oh, you can see there's some blues in there. I'm not going to open the appearance because, yeah, I think that's got too many bands. So although it looks quite grey, it's actually just a combination of other colours. So we can't use that. What about banded 43? That looks like a white one. How does this guy look? White and blue. I mean, maybe with some tweaking we could change that. I mean, that's... Yes, we can fix that. Okay. So, yeah, I will definitely give this guy a little tweak. So we'll go back to realistics. There we go. Right, so as we can see, it's got a lot of blue bands. But if we turn all the blue bands to black and white, we could almost make a zebra planet. So, if I do that, so you couldn't really see the changes, but let's go ahead and just do it. So, there we go. So we can see all the bands. Quite organised with the way they've been made up here. But yeah, this was originally a modded object. So, as you can see, it's quite organised with the way the bands are. You can see all the blue bands are in lines here, which is quite impressive. And what we could do is actually go... yeah, that's a good idea. So, if I go, we can go black. Obviously, white is the main colour. So, black, grey, and then white. And go in that pattern. That could be quite good. So, there we go. Right, and then we'll go, this one is dark again. Like so. Looking good. Right, and then this one would be grey. Oh, actually, that reminds me, we should put Trays 2B in here, the darkest planet. That'd be a good one to put in here, I think. Actually, so we'll add that one in next. But yeah, there we go. So all dark, grey. Right, and then this one will turn to grey. Like so. So shade of grey, doesn't matter what. That's looking really good, actually. And then the last one down here. Like that. And then grey as the colour as well. But there we go. That looks awesome. I really like that. So this would be object E. So yeah, D, E. There we go. Right. Oh, no, this is F, sorry. This would be object F. So there we go. So if we just look at the lineup so far. So yeah, B, C, D, E, F. There we go. Right. Right, and then actually what we'll do as well. This is a little far away for my taste. So we're going to lower that orbit down. So there we go. Something like that. Then we'll give it, yep, eccentric value 0.1. So just slightly eccentric there. But there we go. Lower it a bit. There we go. So EF. There we go. It's looking good. I'm liking that. So we'll customize one of our old model objects. Right. Oh, what is 40? Before we move on to Trays 2B, what about this one? How does that look? Oh, no, that doesn't look like the picture at all, actually. We'll have to get rid of that. Okay, I think that's all of the bandeds I can use. Yeah, most of them are all too colourful. There's not really any Greyscale ones. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go to Trace 2B. So the darkest planet, the all-black planet. We're going to go and place that in. There we go. Right. Then the trail, in theory, for this would be black. But you can't actually see that. So I guess the darkest we can do is the grey. I mean... yeah, you can't really see it otherwise. So there we go. Right, Trace 2B. It's the darkest planet, the all black. I'm guessing it will cool down, but that is fine. So there we go. And then, as you can see here, the colours don't do anything. So I believe this is tinted, this object. So yeah, the colours won't mean anything, but there you go. So that is the darkest planet. Pitch black. Absolutely pitch black there, which is awesome. So there we go. What we could do is have that in orbit. of the white dwarf. Actually, let's try that. So we'll take a jump out to Sirius B. Now I'm just hoping that Trace 2B isn't too much for, because it means in Trace 2B is quite big here. You can see it is tinted as well. But if I put that in orbit as Sirius B, it may upset the star binary. And no, it doesn't. It's all right. You can see Sirius B is wobbling a bit, but that's all right. So there we go. So Trace 2B. It's only got 300 degrees. Even then, it doesn't warm up. Okay, never mind yet. We'll have Trace 2B in orbit of the main star then. So there we go. So let's put it back where it was. So let's have it out here. There we go. Put it on quite an incline there. There we go. So Trace 2B. It's already fine the way it is. Stats-wise, everything. So there we go. So there is Trace 2B added. Right. So not liking the system so far. This is looking good. Really, really looking good so far. Right. And I think we'll do one more before we finish off today's video. So what should we use next? Just looking at any of the templates we could possibly use. No. What about this one? This one looks quite interesting. We can recolor it, obviously, but I just want to see what this one is. Ooh, right. So LP12. No idea where this is from. I know it's definitely not one of my objects, but I mean, that is crazy, crazy looking. But what we can do is, we'd obviously have to fix it up. But I think it's tinted. Yeah, it's tinted. It's yellow. It's a yellow tint, so we can't use it because of that tint, unfortunately. So what could we use next? Maybe we do the opposite of the zebra. Maybe we have black as the dominant colour, and then have whiter, like small white ones. Because obviously, if we go back to the zebra here, I mean, that's what I'm just going to call it. But as we can see, the white is the prominent colour. What if we had the opposite of that, and had black, the darker greys, the blacks the prominent, and have white as the secondary colour? That could be quite good. So we'll go over simple. We'll go over a simple, fresh. Yeah, we'll go over fresh chunks. We don't have any templates to build off anymore. So there we go. I guess we can have it. We'll have it quite close to reflect its similarity. So quite close to the original one. And I just saw object D was very hot here. So this is our Venus. So Venus has actually got a little too warm for my liking. So we're actually going to increase that albedo to 0.94 and let it run for a bit. So let's put it back to 600. See how it works from there. Let's see how that copes. Right, back to our next object. So there we go. So E, F, and then this would be G. Yes, this would be G. Trace 2B hasn't been named yet. So object G. There we go. It's smoking up, so we need to buff that atmosphere. Oh, not atmosphere, mass, sorry. Right, all the way down here. Right, so now, appearance. We're going to go up. So we've got a decent amount of bands. There we go. Right. Then what we're going to do here is we'll go... So we'll do we'll do 3 blacks for every 1 white, I think. So they'll be like this. So 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3. So then we have the white one, then 1, 2, 3. And then just repeat the process. So there we go. Nice and simple, as we can see here. So yeah, good sequence of as you can see, the whites are going diagonal across the menu now. I guess that's like the one we saw earlier. Right, and then a 1, 2, 3. Oh, clicking all over the place. That's looking good already, actually. Loving that. Right. And then 1, 2, 3. And then it would go 1, 2. And then we'll add the 3. We'll add 1 more band. So 1, 2, 3, like that. So there we go. So for every 3 black bands, we have 1 white band, like that. So there we go. So that is our yeah, that is our what's the word? Completed object. There we go. Our concluded build. So there we go. Object G. Very, very happy with that. I think that looks good. So object G there. Right, and then they can jump out. So this, yeah, Trace 2B over here. This would, in theory, now be object H. So we'll do that. But we'll have it in brackets that it's Trace 2B. So there we go. There we go. So that's object H. So we go. So we've got a big jump out there. Not very interesting orbit colours this time. Because, I mean, all we can do is greys and whites. So there we are. Right, now jumping out again. We've still got plenty more room before we get to Sirius B. But, yeah, we'll do one more. We'll do one more object since that was quite a fast one. Let's go and try and do a grey gas giant, because it's mostly been blacks, whites. Let's try and get a grey one. Now, this one here, this 2 mass of Mr. Mislos, this sprung to mind, because this one is very prominent with grey. I know it's got some orange bands on it, but we can customise those. So here we go. So this object here. Now, if we change all of those red ones to grey, we'd have quite an interesting look at it. So let's go all the way down here. Here we go. So as we can see, if we change all of the red ones to greys, so yeah, lighter greys, we'll slowly see this guy transform into a more grey object. So I mean, we can see here, it's not, a lot of the bands are actually really, really dark greys. So if we put some lighter greys in here, we can have pretty much an all grey object. And we can see some of them are black as well, actually. But yeah, there we go. So, let's see, the grey, and then grey there. And then just quickly speed through this. I mean, there we go. So all of the colours that are slightly red have to go. So there we go. And it's already looking pretty good indeed here. Right. So there we go. Nice and easy. So it's cool how different you can make objects just by recustomizing old modded ones, which is really, really good stuff here. Right. There we go. Oh, misclick that. Yeah, if we just keep it up. Looking good. Look at that. Right. I like it. I like that. That's good. So click play. There you go. And what we'll do to make it interesting as well is let's tilt it on its side like Uranus. There we go. That looks good. So that is 2 mass. But yeah, we'll rename this guy completely. Oh, whoa. Okay, we've got a problem with Sirius B. Right, what's going on here? 30 mass of Jupiter. Let's lower that down. That's not allowed. Whoa, Sirius, get back in orbit. Come on, what are you doing? Get out of that. Stop orbiting the gas giant. Go back to the star, please. There you go. Right. Good. So yeah, this object was actually interfering with Sirius. So it suggests that we can't put any more gas giants out here because they will upset Sirius B, our little white dwarf. Because this guy has got 1,000 Jupiters. But at that distance, it would be more dominating than this one, I guess. But yeah, we'll lower that down. 1.6 Jupiters. That's fine. Add our gas back. Like so. There we go. Lower the iron. Make it mostly hydrogen. But there we go. So that does it. So this would be object I. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. So object I. So there we go. But yeah, that does it for part 1 of the Greyscale system, guys. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below in the comments. I really enjoyed this. This was good. So let's go ahead and go in chart mode. Get a lineup of everything we've done. So here we go. So we've also got our 2 stars. So there we go. Then we've got Greyscale Deluxe here. Trace 2B. We've got Object I, which we just did. We'll go on flashlight so we can see them all properly. Then we've got Object G, Object D. Oh, that's F, sorry. We've got D here, which is our Venus lookalike. That looks like it needs some upgrades still, just to get that red to disappear. Sirius B, Object B, and then Object C here. So a very nice lineup of objects so far. But yeah, guys, if you guys have got any feedback, improvements, tips and tricks I could put in here, or just object suggestions, what I could do, let me know down below in the comments. Yeah, any ideas are appreciated. Let me know your thoughts. But yeah, guys, let's see if we can go for 30 likes on today's video, as we smashed our like goal on the previous video. So a massive thank you for that as well. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Helps on the journey to 16,000 subscribers, guys. It's, yeah, we're over halfway there now. So a massive thank you for that as well. It is much appreciated. Means the world. And yeah, with that all said and done, guys, make sure you all have a great day. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.